Pokemon Wheel of Fortune is back yet again. So just a reminder, this was filmed in the Series 11 rule set. So don't expect to see a double restricted. In the end of the last episode, we spun the wheel. We got O and Q, so 2 letters put together. That still only gave us 8 Pokemon to choose from and no restricted. So I was able to choose my restricted, and this is the team. So Kyogre was the restricted I went with, and for good reason if you look at the rest of the team. So we had 2 Swift Swim users in Quillfish and Omastar. They both made the team, but Quillfish is Intimidate with Life Orb, Swords Dance, Bounce and Liquidation. Then we've got a support Quagsire with Water Absorb. And you can see we've got the Yawn Icy Wind combo, which I really like. You can yawn the opposing Pokemon. Opponent switches out, hit with the Icy Wind on the way in. Then we got Omastar with the Power Herb with Meteor Beam. And then in the last 2 slots, we have a supportive Orbeetle and Obstagoon, which was kind of an... at that point, I didn't know what else to put on the team. It was between Obstagoon and I think Oranguru. But yeah, I really wasn't sure with the final slot, and Obstagoon just ended up on the team because, well, it had Parting Shot, which is quite decent. So put Choice Scarf on it, has Defiant as well. Why not? So that was the team. I was really not looking forward to this episode for a long time, to the point where I thought about it so much and I ended up making a decent team and it was a lot of fun. So let's get into it and let's see how we got on. And here was our first opponent, quite an interesting team. Thus main Necrozma with Lapras, so an obvious Trick Room mode going on there. But with a Cinderace, so they've got a fast mode as well, potentially with Max Airstream even on the Celesteela. And 2 terrain setters. So a team that looks like it can dish damage, but also probably be quite stally as well. So I chose Quillfish in the lead, which makes sense. We can Intimidate the Solgaleo, and Orbeetle as well allows us to use Struggle Bug should they lead with the Lapras. I'm not sure what my opponent's going to lead with. If I had to guess, I would say the Indeedee Lapras probably. Of course, could be the Indeedee Necrozma though. So I went with those 2 in the lead to neutralise any lead my opponent goes with, and you can see that I've brought Kyogre and Omastar in the back. So let's get into it and let's see what they lead. So in the lead, we saw Necrozma Celesteela, which was not what I was expecting. And then at this point, I'm thinking, hang on a minute, this could easily be Bulldoze Celesteela into Weakness Policy Necrozma. You've got to assume it's the Weakness Policy on the Necrozma, right? So, Quillfish is looking threatened. Orbeetle is looking threatened as well. This is not a great lead by any means. What did I do? I'm hovering over that Swords Dance. So I'm considering switching here. I can't remember what I did, but I'm obviously considering switching because the reason I considered it didn't go straight for it is because my opponent's going to get a ton of free damage if I'm not careful. So if I'm going to switch, I need to make the right switches. If I'm going to protect, I need to make the correct protects, and try not to give my opponent too much momentum off of this lead matchup. So you can see I've switched to Kyogre. I'll go for the Body Press, and I didn't use Body Press much on Orbeetle. You're about to see why. So Kyogre comes in, and the rain on this team really nice. You see that it works, of course, with our water types. Also weakens fire damage onto Orbeetle. So that's why we didn't use Body Press too much. Yeah, quite underwhelming. And then the Necrozma goes for Dragon Dance. So yeah, not great. I think that was the first time I used Body Press. And yeah, I was very surprised at the lack of damage. I wasn't expecting it to be amazing, but I was expecting it to be a little bit better than that. So a really passive turn for my opponent, but getting into a really good position. Luckily, you've got Kyogre without really taking much damage. So now I need to get the Quillfish back in, because I want to get the Intimidate off again. Bring it in on the Orbeetle side, because my opponent's probably not going to go for the Psychic move into that slot. If they go for the Steel Strike, Quillfish, of course, is resistant to that. So we pull a double switch, Omastar, Quillfish. And if Omastar survives this turn, and doesn't take too much damage, we're in a decent spot. So my opponent goes for Wide Guard. They reveal the Wide Guard on the Celesteela, which is a nice little tech. And they go for a second Dragon Dance. So I'm really happy with this because my opponent had all of the momentum, but we've managed to slow them down. But they could have attacked, and honestly, they probably should have attacked. But they didn't. And we've got ourselves into a better position. So you can see I'm actually going to max the Omastar and go for the Max Quake into the Necrozma. And I'm considering doubling it because, of course, expecting that weakness policy, and I want to get knocked out. So we'll see if this double up does the job or if my opponent maxes. Could go a million different ways. So just double checking the rain there. Yeah, and that is the play we go for. So how many times have you seen Omastar in VGC, let alone Dynamax? I don't imagine it's too often, but here we go. Big Omastar is sitting in the field. So we've gone for that double up because, of course, we want to get that knockout. If we can get the knockout onto Necrozma, Celesteela's fairly passive. We've seen what it's got now. It's got Leech Seed and Wide Guard, probably has Protect and Heavy Slam. So I'm not too worried about that. So Max Quake comes out, and not as much damage as I was hoping, truth be told. So now I've got my fingers crossed. Quillfish in the rain with Life Orb, because there we go, there's that weakness policy. Should get the job done, but with Necrozma you just never know. And of course, yeah, they move first because they have the speed advantage, but they go for another Dragon Dance, luckily for us. And there we go, we get the knockout, so that's absolutely huge. Taking down probably the biggest threat on my opponent's team, taking out their restricted Pokemon there. With my very pink team. If you actually look at all of the shiny variants of the Pokemon I've got, because I put all shinies on the team, they are all pink. But anyway, we see Lapras come in. So of course this is the secondary threat here, and also the one that's gonna boost my opponent's longevity now. So now they're playing the bulk game. So I actually go for, I don't know what I go for. Do I go for the Max Quake? It looks like I do. To boost the special defense and actually switch, it looks like I'm gonna switch Quillfish out to get All-Beetle in so I can start going for the Struggle Bugs as well. That's what it looks like I'm considering here. Well, I left it late. Did I make that in time? I did. Okay, so that was the play that we went for. Almost messed that one up. But of course, they're going to max the Lapras. And I could have kept Quillfish in and gone after the Celesteela, but I think damage mitigation at this point, getting through their Dynamax turns, was the more important thing to deal with. So let's see. So I got the Max Lapras. Max Quake comes out, of course, not going to do much damage, but we're boosting that special defense, that's what we want. And then we always have access to the Max Rockfall on subsequent turns. And Leech Seed, so yeah, I'm totally fine with that. No problem. Celesteela can remain on the field for as long as it wants. We'll deal with that at a later time. So going for the Resonance into Omastar. Does nothing. And now, unfortunately, you've got to sit through some animations because we're gonna see Leech Seed quite a lot for the rest of this battle. So it's got to be max Rockfall, right? It's got to be. Nope, I max Quake again. Not sure how I feel about that in hindsight. Probably should have been a max Rockfall. So I can lower. I'm lowering the special attack anyway. I've already got the special defense boosts. Max Rockfall is going to do the big damage. Although I think maybe one thing I'm thinking about here is the residual damage of Leech Seed plus Sand onto the Orbeetle. And it's Flamethrower Celesteela, except does absolutely nothing. Max Lightning comes out, and again, absolutely nothing. So again, I'm feeling happy about this. It's going to be a long, drawn-out battle. But that's okay, because I feel like I can sew this one up. So that's our final turn of Dynamax. Sitting through the Leech Seed again. I'll probably skip a few of these, so you don't have to watch them all. Maybe not, we'll see. Depends on if it messes up the flow of the battle or not. But that's the end of our Dynamax. My opponent still has one turn, but they are, in terms of damage output, it's practically non-existent. So I decided to swap out here. We're losing the special defense boosts, which is another reason I probably should have just gone for the Rockfall earlier. But we're trying to shake off the Leech Seed now, and we're not going to take too much damage coming in. We've got the Assault Vest on Koga as well. So even if we see another Max Lightning come out, it's not going to do too much. And you can see Orbeetle really pulling its weight here, really supporting the team well. And Earthquake, so it's mixed Celesteela. There's that Max Lightning. Yeah, look at that. That's in electric terrain as well. So now I've got a couple of options. I can Thunder either of these Pokemon. So just more of the same with Orbeetle. See the Wild Guard come out. So it's going to block the Struggle Bug. We're going to get our Thunder off though. Into the Lapras. And probably a Freeze Dry, you've got to imagine. Nope, it's a Thunder. Still just taking that like an absolute champ. So I've got the Citrus Berry on Orbeetle, which is why I haven't switched it out yet. There we go. We see the Citrus Berry now. But the Leech Seed is being quite annoying. If we can knock out one of these Pokemon, get down to 4 versus 2, then we'll finally deal with the Celesteela. You can see my Pokemon seems to be quite reluctant to switch either of their Pokemon out for some reason. So maybe the Cinderace in the back, something that doesn't really want to face down these Pokemon. Another Wide Guard. But that's okay. So that's the end of Lapras. And we're going to see my opponent's final Pokemon now. We'll get Sticky Web, so we'll lower the speed of whatever comes in. So what Pokemon is it? Now, I'll be completely honest. I don't know why, but in Team Preview, I did not see the Rillaboom. I completely blanked on the Rillaboom. Didn't even literally didn't even notice it. I was very surprised when it actually came in.
I don't know where the Rillaboom came from. It wasn't there in team preview, I swear.
I could be in some real trouble here. I knew that I could win this, but if there's one Pokemon my opponent needs to pull this back, it is Rillaboom. We've got a huge grass weakness on this team. So yeah, this was trouble. This really was. So what do I do? Quillfish is what I need to beat the Rillaboom, but I can't just switch it in because it's going to take too much damage. Of course, I want the Intimidate. They're going after the Kyogre slot. There's no way they're not going to do that. So out comes the big body press again. Big damage. Here we go. So Omastar comes in, and well, let's see what happens. Yeah, unfortunately, I hate to see it go like that, but Omastar was just sacrificed entirely there. I'm just thinking we just need to beat this Rillaboom. We just need to knock this thing out. But we've got our free switch into Quillfish, which is exactly what we need. So we are gonna, it's Rillaboom. It's probably not got Protect. The healing from the grassy terrain is really not helping my case either against this Rillaboom, because it's going to heal up, and obviously we need 2 turns to hit with Bounce anyway. So in comes Quillfish. We get our Intimidate off. And now I'm really mindful of the Leech Seed onto Orbeetle as well, because I need Quillfish to beat, we're going at 1 turn of rain, I need Quillfish to beat Rillaboom so that Kyogre can beat Celesteela. So this is it. We go for the Protect. So I know they're going to go into the Quillfish, and at the same time I'm trying to stall out the grassy terrain as well, because that's another option that we've got. But you see, my opponent didn't go for the Grassy Glide. So did they read into our Protect? They did not. They went straight for the high horsepower. So they're just trying to knock Quillfish out. So that's the rain gone. Of course, we've got Kyogre to reset that, but that's the rain gone. And there's 3 turns of grassy terrain left. So if we can hit this with 1 bounce, I think that's all we need. We just need 1 bounce. So this is it. We go for it. We go for the bounce. Do I swap? Yeah, I mean, at this point, it is, I'm really considering it. Do I actually do it? I actually do. I do swap Orbeetle out. Because I feel like my opponent needs to go after the Quillfish still, right? So this is a fairly safe switch. We get some healing on Kyogre as well. We get the Leech Seed gone. So let's see how this one plays out. So up goes Quillfish. Get HP back. So this worked out perfectly for us. This is exactly what we wanted. Aurora Veil's gone as well. I'll pass it over to myself. So yeah, that sucked. That super sucked. I was really quite. I was crushed by that turn because I played it so perfectly. I made the play I needed to make, called it perfectly. We missed the bounce, and the thing is, time is getting low. So if my opponent knocks out one of my Pokemon, like if I hit the Rillaboom there, we probably knock it out, and that's the end of the game because it's 3 versus 1. Celesteela's outputting no damage, and we're gonna win through timer. See, my opponent's actually got knockoff as well, so they do have the ability to go into the orbital slot. I can still win if my opponent doesn't stall me out. Because you can see all these animations going off, and that timer is ticking down. And you can see for my time, just over a minute, you see me locking in super fast. My opponent actually does the same here, so we go for the bounce. Struggle Bug's animation's not helping us out at this point, lowering those special attacks even further. Flamethrower comes out, and you've got to expect it's probably going to be a double into the orbital slot, which it is. So, this is a position that I really didn't want to be in, and that I thought we had avoided. We went from just a great position, playing it so well, to it's 2 versus 2. We missed bounce, and let's see what happens. So, Grassy Terrain's gone. I'm going to double that Rillaboom slot. My opponent taking their time. There we go. We lost. That was, yeah, it killed me, guys. Like, of all the battles I played in this series, with this team as well, I really like this team. It was so much fun to play, and that battle had everything that I wanted. We got to showcase the Omastar, the Quillfish as well, and to lose it in that way, oh, I don't know how I forgot about the Rillaboom. Not even forgot about it. I literally did not see it. But anyway, that was the first one. It wasn't actually the first one. I did many battles with this team, and I got other wins before this, but that one had everything I wanted. That's the first battle from this episode. Let's get on to our next one.
I don't know where Rillaboom came from. It wasn't there in team preview, I swear.
So the next opponent, a hard Trick Room team. Hard Trick Room. What, they want to get Trick Room up and then sweep with Snorlax. Or get Trick Room up and then just go at it with the Hatterene. So, I lock in Obstagoon, and then I don't choose Obstagoon anymore. I can't remember what I chose, but we did bring Quagsire, I know that much. So Quagsire is locked in. I didn't really have a way to stop my opponent getting Trick Room up with this team, but one thing we can do is yawn things and force my opponent to waste their Trick Room turns. So there we go, I locked in pretty quick. We're not going to see Obstagoon, unfortunately. But yeah, leading Quagsire plus Kyogre so that we can, as I say, yawn anything that we need to, while also pressuring big damage on the first turn with Kyogre. And then we've got Orbeetle in the back to, again, slow my opponent down with Omastar as well to come in, hopefully after Trick Room's ended, and then just output even more damage and sew up the win from there. So we see Hatterene and Liepard, which has a cool little trick of Max Guard plus Copycat that you might have seen a few times. So that's something that I'm very much aware of here. I can't yawn the Hatterene, of course, because it has Magic Bounce. But that looks like that's what I just did. No. Did I remember? I hope I did. Yeah, I did. I remembered. I was like, hold on a minute, I can't yawn that because I'll end up yawning myself. And of course the Fake Out's going to go into Kyogre, so I pulled the switch, get Orbeetle in. And maybe we'll get Burn. Maybe we'll get Burn with Scald. So So as I mentioned before, my team, varying shades of pink. Even Orbeetle taking that fake out there. Orbeetle got a little bit of pink on it. It's mostly purple, but got a little bit of pink. School comes out, decent damage, considering that we have no special attack investment. Of course, the rain helping out there. Don't get the burn, unfortunately. My opponent does get the Trick Room up. And Hatterini's the threat here. So we're just going to go into that again with Quagsire and Struggle Bug, and you know the deal. So we do see the Dynamax. Big surprise. Would have been if it had been Liepard. So the annoying thing about Hatterini, as you probably know, the max move it gets, G-Max. That actually went for Max Flare to get rid of the rain. G-Max. Oh, what is the move called? I can't remember, but it's the one that can. Oh, G-Max Smite. Of course, confuses both of the opposing Pokemon, and then you're dealing with confusion. So super annoying. We got the Struggle Bug off. Decent damage because of course super effective on Liepard. Lower the Hatterini's damage output as well. I kind of feel like we've had the better trade there, because they've essentially wasted a max turn just to remove rain from the field. So I'd rather be taking that Max Flare in the rain than the G-Max Smite or the Max Mindstorm. So actually switching Quagsire out and again going for the Struggle Bug. I could body press the Liepard. I don't. You'd think that would knock it out, but after the previous battle, you never know. But at the same time, we don't want to knock out the Liepard because it doesn't look like it's doing much outside of foul play. I'd rather keep the Liepard in Trick Room than get the Snorlax in or the Oranguru in for free. The things that really want to be in Trick Room. So it has Fake Tears, which is to be expected as well on this kind of team. So the Smite comes out into Orbeetle, and yeah, after the Fake Tears, that's going to get the job done. And the confusion. So I'm confused with Kyogre, but I can't really afford to play around that. I feel like I'm in a position where I just need to roll those dice and hope we don't hit ourselves. So the pink duo that started the battle for us are back on the field. 2 turns of Trick Room left. And yeah, as you can see, I go for the max. So we're going all in. We're maxing despite the fact we are confused. Go for the Scald. I doubled the Hatterini here. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why. Maybe in case of Max Flare. I'm not really sure why I doubled it there. Because of course from this range, our Kyogre should just knock it out anyway. But as I said before, I'm okay keeping the Liepard on the field anyway. So the Assault Vest really coming in handy there. That's essentially a +1 Smite coming out. And can Kyogre pull through? It can. So both of our Pokemon actually get through. Max Geyser comes out. That's the end of Hatterini. So one down, 3 versus 3. I think we've got 1 turn of Trick Room left. And I'm free to start yawning with Quagsire as well. I don't have to worry about Hatterini's Magic Bounce. My opponent brings in Oranguru, which is quite curious because I feel like they have no damage output on the field with this duo. But you never know, you never know. So what do? We go for the Max Geyser, and considering protecting, I guess to stall out that last turn of Trick Room, but Quagsire is probably the slowest thing on the field anyway, so I don't think there's a reason to do that. So we just double into the Oranguru. Quagsire pulls through with the Confusion. Gets the burn again. And Oranguru pulling out the Yawn. So that explains it. It's not that they want the damage output. We snap out of Confusion. It's not that they want the damage output. It's that they want to slow us down with Yawn. So that's the end of Oranguru. And we've still got another turn of Dynamax. We're going to fall asleep. I could Max Thunder. That's always an option depending on what my opponent has. And it is a Snorlax. So I think my play here is probably just to Max Thunder the Lipard and Yawn the Snorlax. I'm pulling a switch. Why am I pulling a switch? Why did I pull a switch? I don't agree with this play. The Yawn on the Snorlax is absolutely critical though. 100%. Because if it's got Belly Drum and it goes for it, well, I don't want to be dealing with that. Quagsire still confused. So yeah, I don't agree with that play in hindsight. That was not a great play by me by any means. Because if we hadn't got that Yawn off, I would have gone for the Max Thunder into Lipard. We'd be threatening good damage against the Snorlax, but we should sew the game up with Koga and Quagsire in that situation, with Omastar in the back as well. But this was the play we made. Luckily for us, it worked out. So we pulled through. We got the Yawn off. Get a double protect. So foul play comes out. And Earthquake from Snorlax. So Lipard leaves the field. Finally. And yeah, no Quillfish this game, but we've still got two cool Pokemon on the field to finish things up. That was why I switched out Koga, because of the rain, but I don't know if that was necessary. And then from here, I'm free to Meteor Beam, get the +1 boost, swap Koga in, and then just win from there. So my opponent doesn't forfeit, so we get to see the Meteor Beam. Or do we? Because it might miss. So there's the charge turn. It did not miss. We get to see Omastar use Meteor Beam. So out comes the Meteor Beam. Good damage. And yeah, this is all over. This is all over. We get the win. Well done. Crushing defeat on the first game. I was so sad. I was as sad as a Pokemon game can make you, which isn't that sad. But yeah, I was still very disappointed. But we got the win. This team was so much fun to play. It's up there with the Kingler team, up there with the Heracross team as well, for sure. I really enjoyed playing this team. And now it's time for us to spin the wheel. So only 4 slots left on the wheel. T, D, B, and the UXZ together. So let's spin and see what we get. So this one, there's no debating this one. It's going to be with the T. And should be an easier one, this one. We went from a really difficult one that owned the Q to T, which, if you remember, has all of the Tapus for us to choose from. Talonflame, Terrakion, many different Pokemon for us to, many different strong Pokemon for us to pick. So let's have a look. T, there we go. Talonflame, Tapus. We've got Intimidate and Tauros as well. Thunderous. So yeah, this should be look at this. Look, we've got Togekiss as well. This should be no problem. This should be no problem at all. So, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you tune in for the next episode. Again, it was a good one, in my opinion. But yeah, thanks for watching, and hope to see you in the next one. You take care. We're back with the Pokemon Wheel of Fortune. The Pokemon Wheel of Fortune is back yet again.